What's good? What's good? It's the one, the only, but what do I know? Boxing coming back at y'all with some news. Got a rumored fight, and I gotta put the emphasis on rumored. Rumored fight being negotiated behind scenes between David Benavidez and Demetrius Andrade. All right, so I wanted to talk about that because, bro, first and foremost, man, it's a few angles that we can go with this. For one, I definitely already, for all the David Benavidez fans like myself, be prepared because the Canelo fanboys are now gonna say, "Oh, David Benavidez is ducking David Morrell." As dumb as that sounds, he's ducking David Morrell for Demetrius Andrade. Two guys that Canelo Alvarez don't want to fight. All right, David Benavidez and Demetrius Andrade. Now, do I feel like that's considered a duck? No. What is my definition of duck? I've always been consistent, something that the Canelo fanboys aren't. The definition of a duck to me is when you avoid a fighter to fight somebody that's less threatening, right? Now, Demetrius Andrade has been a top fighter for a very long time. Trash resume, but a top fighter. And for whatever reason, I've never understood. I really would love to sit down and have a talk with Canelo to ask him his personal reasons. For some reason, Canelo just doesn't want to fight Demetrius Andrade. All right, from 154, when Demetrius Andrade had I think it was the WBA, I think it was the WBA, whichever belt it was that Canelo got from Liam Smith, because they stripped Demetrius Andrade for that title. You know, and at 160, Canelo said he wanted to be undisputed. He had every belt except for the WBO, which was held by Demetrius Andrade. He didn't want I don't know. For whatever reason, and I always felt like Canelo can beat Demetrius Andrade. I've said that plenty of times. I feel like Canelo would beat Demetrius Andrade, but for whatever reason, Canelo just does not want to fight Demetrius Andrade. So, looks like David Benavidez is. All right, now I think this is a very great fight. I think that Demetrius Andrade could present problems, or at least a style that David Benavidez is not familiar with. I mean, just being honest, you're not gonna find too many Demetrius Andrades out there. Now, a good thing about this is both fighters seem to be avoided, or nobody really seems to want to fight these guys. So at this point, I mean, these guys really have to fight each other. I've always stated Demetrius Andrade has been around longer than David Benavidez, right? But nobody, he can't get a fight with the Charlos, couldn't get a fight with Canelo Alvarez, couldn't get a fight with Arizlan De Lara back when that was a big deal. Couldn't get a fight with Jaime Munguia, even though Jaime Munguia was his mandatory. He couldn't get a fight with Triple G. All right, so now he moved up, signed a deal with Showtime, and I always stated, bro, at this particular time, bro, Demetrius Andrade doesn't have the luxury of what Canelo can do and what Terrence Crawford can do now. Terrence Crawford is now on that list where he can pick and choose whoever he wants to fight now. I mean, it has to benefit him. And Canelo Alvarez has been doing that for a long time. Demetrius Andrade doesn't have that luxury. Demetrius Andrade pretty much has to fight who's available. And I always stated, since he moved up to 168, if he's going to, if David Benavidez is calling him out, Demetrius Andrade has to take that, because you can't go around campaigning about, oh, I can't get a big fight with nobody. Nobody wants to fight me. I can't get a big fight. And then when, David Benavidez comes knocking at your door, you choose not to answer. So I always stated that, bro. Demetrius Andrade, he really has no choice at this point but to fight David Benavidez. And as far as David Benavidez, well, I think David Benavidez has more of an answer than Demetrius Andrade, because David Morrell does seem like he want to fight him now, albeit though I remember last year David Morrell and Ronnie Shields, who was David Morrell's trainer, saying that David Morrell was not ready for David Benavidez, okay? But it seems like David Morrell is knocking on the door, so I feel like, David Benavidez has a little more of a leeway than Demetrius Andrade. Now, I feel like, bro, listen, I hope hopefully this fight gets made. But for those that are gonna sit there and say, well, he's ducking David Morrell, no, it's not a duck. All right, I don't think it's a duck. Regardless, I know the Canelo fanboys are gonna use this. But if you feel like he's ducking David Morrell, then I feel like we have a right to say he's fighting somebody that Canelo has been avoiding his entire career. So he's actually taking out the trash for Canelo. He's doing Canelo a favor. And I feel like this is such an interesting matchup. You got a come forward fighter against a slick southpaw. Demetrius, and now I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I don't think Demetrius Andrade will beat David Benavidez. I just don't. Demetrius Andrade is very looping with his punches. Kind of wide, not anything too athletic with Demetrius Andrade. You're not gonna see too much. You're not gonna see no like extra fast speed, or you're not gonna see no deadly power or anything like that. But you are gonna see a skillful fighter, okay? And you are gonna see David Benavidez have to overcome obstacles, and definitely Demetrius Andrade can give him those. Is going to give him those obstacles to overcome. But I feel like over and all, David Benavidez pressure is going to cause more issues for Demetrius Andrade than what Demetrius Andrade could cause for David Benavidez. Now, I want to take my hat off to David Benavidez. If this is true, again, this is just a rumor, but I want to take my hat off to David Benavidez because I do feel like he is just really headed in the right direction, bro. What more can they say? I mean, I know what the Canelo fanboys are going to say. They're going to say, he needs to fight David Morrell. Even though John Ryder didn't have to fight David Morrell, for some reason, David Benavidez needs to fight David Morrell in order to get a shot at Canelo Alvarez, even though he's the WBC interim champion. Whatever. Albeit I have stated that would be a good business move to trap Canelo Alvarez by having the regular WBA and the WBC interim. But I'm not mad at this because now if this fight happens, he would have been in the ring. I'm just like I said, I'm just assuming that this fight happens. This is just a rumor, but still, he would having Demetrius Andrade on his resume looks that much better and proves that much more why he should be Canelo's next option. You got. And by the way, when I say the reason why I want David Benavidez to fight Canelo, because I know a lot of you fanboys are very sensitive. When anybody that could be a threat to your fighter, when you say you want to see that fighter fight your fighter, they automatically say, oh, you're hating it, you're a hater, you're a casual just because you want to see a good fight. I'm paying my money to see Canelo, but because I want to see Canelo fight a evenly matched fight, I'm a hater. Wow. This is what boxing has become. Listen, and I'm not even saying that David. I don't know if David Benavidez will beat Canelo, but I still think that makes for an entertaining matchup with their styles. But anyways, like I was saying before I was getting into that, bro. Imagine David Benavidez having Demetrius Andrade, Caleb Plant, David Lemieux, another former champion, Anthony Durrell on his resume, bro. Like, imagine that, bro. Like, what more could is really nothing much more that David Benavidez could do. Because for guys that are saying, well, he needs to fight David Morrell in order to get a fight with Canelo. Well, if that's the case, then why don't Canelo just fight David Morrell then? What is David Morrell? Why is David Morrell the road blockage between David Benavidez getting a fight with Canelo? Because last time that I checked, rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle, David Morrell hasn't done. Who the hell is David Morrell beating? He's fought a close friend of mine named Calvin Henderson, and Calvin Henderson is a dog. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying and I feel like Calvin Henderson is a top fighter. Don't get it twisted, but as far as big names though, like big names. So it's no disrespect to my brother Calvin Henderson, because he knows I'm a big fan of him too, and I love him to death. But as far as those big names, who is David Morrell beating for you to say David Benavidez just has to have him on his resume? No, it's just a way. It's just an excuse that the Canelo fanboys use as a roadblock to David Benavidez getting Canelo Alvarez. It's just a fact. All right. So if that's so like I said, I feel like this is a step in the right direction for David Benavidez, fighting somebody that Canelo Alvarez obviously has not been wanting to fight his entire career. And you know, make the fight. I love this fight. I think this is a very good fight. I mean, this has already been a hell of a year for boxing. Why not just add more to it? You know, this has been a great year for boxing. Boxing has been kicking butt this year, right? Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. But what do I know?